Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for the 3-5 Human Design Profile. If you don't know your profile, there's a link in the description for you to get your Human Design Body Graph. You don't have to know a single thing about Human Design in order to watch these messages. I try not to use a lot of Human Design lingo and stuff so that it gets confusing. It's not even necessarily about human design. It's just an avenue for an additional message, because not every Gemini is a 3-5, or not every Pisces is a 3-5, right? So that's my little spiel on that. Also, I think it's pretty bold of me to be starting these back up right when Mercury retrograde started. Already put my foot in my mouth once. Not during these readings, just in a conversation with somebody. Hot take that somebody took a little personal. So I'm sure as a fifth line, even though it's on the body side for you, I'm sure in some capacity, you probably know what I mean, because I'm a 5-1. So, let's get you an oracle card, and then of course we will get your tarot out. You okay? My dog. Reverse sneezing, I think is what they call that. I don't even know if you could hear them. But anyway, we have the Salamander and Black Pepper with inspiration. I already brought the book out. I mean, maybe we should just read it. That was just kind of weird. Here we go. We make the rules up as we go over here. So it says, symbols of fire and heat. The salamander and black pepper call us to be full of energy and inspired. Both Aristotle and Pliny the Elder wrote of the salamander's ability to withstand flames, and the creature's association with fire is echoed in ancient Greek myth. Black pepper, or peppercorn, has an earthy flavor with a spicy kick, making it a perfect match for the fire-friendly salamander. Upright, a new opportunity awaits. To fulfill it, you must remain inspired, applying your full energy to your creative endeavors. Reversed, you may be feeling the heat. Stakes are high and the pressure is getting to you. Remember the salamander's ability to withstand flames and hold your ground. Interesting. Let's see what we get for tarot cards. Actually, hold on. Okay, sorry. There's a lot of thunder going on outside, so I needed to close I had my patio door open. Anyway, interesting. We have the Apprentice of Vessels in the reverse, which, the Apprentice of Vessels really does talk about creative inspiration. So it's interesting that card came out in the reverse. We've already read about the salamander and black pepper, which is talking about holding on to your inspiration and, not letting the heat, the pressure get to you. Which is also interesting because, and I literally just had to check because I'm let me make sure, I'm not shuffling the cards upside down. Which is also interesting because in this card, we can see that they're making a bowl out of clay there, and eventually they'll need to fire it, right? They'll need to put it in a kiln or something that makes it solid. We have the 10 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 9 of Cups, interesting. 9 of Swords, and the Hermit. Even, I mean, like, look at just the color similarities between the two middle cards. And then the Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I was halfway wondering if there was going to be aces or a bunch of wands that came out. Let me make sure everything is in frame and then we'll get started with your reading. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Interesting. This whole thing is interesting to me. This really is like, it has this feeling of really honing in on what you want. You specifically, right? Not based on like what other people want for you, not based on other people's ideas. And it happens to everybody, right? Like eventually through, our healing journey and all of that, I feel like we get to a point where we're like, why do we even want the things that we actually want? Like, are those things that we actually want? Or did somebody else want those either for themselves that they kind of imprinted onto me? Or, they thought that maybe it was best if I had these things or if I wanted these things for myself. So that's just kind of the overall vibe that I'm getting from this. And it really is about coming into your own path, but also having to, for one, get quiet enough to hear it, for two, trusting it, having confidence in it too. So again, we start with the I almost said the Ace of Cups, the Apprentice of Cups, which is the Page of Cups in the reverse. Cups have to do with our emotions, right? Like how we're feeling about ourselves, how we're feeling about our lives, the people in our lives, what we're doing. Very, heart chakra. Moon also, I don't know why, like that's coming through. It could have just some significance to like either your moon placements or your moon sign. Vulnerability too. Imagination, creativity, empathy. It's also, like attached to our intuition, because that's usually a feeling. And, strategy and authority. So, like I said, upright, this card is this person that's making this bowl. This is like literally getting your hands dirty, right? I mean, creating something. And even going back to the Oracle card, being inspired, creating something based on what it is that inspires you, putting your like time and attention into a thing. And again, the Page of Cups is very imaginative. There's kind of this like inner child thing. It's, like has this innocence, playful, make-believe, kind of very fairy tale-y kind of vibe to it. But it's like, it's allowing yourself to imagine possibilities beyond what you already believe to be like possible. Because I think also too, like as we get older, our imagination is just kind of either guilted out of us, shamed out of us, or traumatized out of us, right? Like we no longer think like the sky is the limit, But the Page of Cups asks us to bring some of that back. Allow your imagination to go wild, truly. What's that saying? It's like, we're only limited by the, what is it? Like we're only limited by the, okay. It's something like we're only limited by our imagination or lack of imagination, or basically meaning if we only think that it's possible to see 10 feet in front of us, we will only ever try to look 10 feet in front of us. But, if we could imagine that it's possible to see 100 feet, in front of us, then we would like allow ourselves to focus a little bit more forward. Like, okay, well, I know I can see 10 feet, but you know what? I'm going to maybe squint a little. I know this is just kind of a random analogy. This is just the one that's coming to mind. So roll with it. Roll with it with me. Allow yourself to see further, or, you know, even just, you know, if your imagination only stretches out 10 feet, allow it to go another 10 feet. What type of possibilities can encompass another 10 feet in your imagination? Regardless of if you believe in it or not, just imagine it and then keep going. Keep expanding out. Literally like a bubble is how that, in my head, the visual that's coming through. So anyway, it came out in the reverse though. So all of that I just said, there's like a block there. Maybe you're not feeling inspired. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe, you know, you're feeling a little drained, bored too. You know, it's just like there's nothing really that's kind of scratching that itch for you. And what is so crazy is that the Ace of Cups in the reverse is paired with the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment. Your desires being met. It's individual too, so it has nothing to do with other people. Tens involve other people. We also have 2 nines out here. 3 nines. All of these down here are 9s. That's crazy, right? IX is 9. Yeah. See, don't doubt yourself. That's crazy. Triple nines. Nines are, again, they're completion. They're individual completion, though. It's recognizing, first of all, it's getting clear on what is wish fulfillment for you. What do you desire? How can you meet your own needs? What do you want to happen? How do you want to feel? And look at all these bowls, too. There's, 9 different hands. And I mean, well, yeah, we'll go with it. Because I'm like, are there 9 different people, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Like this hand and this hand, this hand and this hand, this one, this one, this one, this one. I don't know. That's too far. It's too far. But what is also, it's interesting. Okay, so there's 9 bowls. This apprentice of cups or page of cups, they're making bowls here. So we have eight bowls that have different fruits in them. This one at the top has a sampling of each one of, from these bowls. So this to me has this feeling of, again, it could be dissatisfaction. Like maybe you just don't feel like you have the network or the community or, just the connections with other people that are filling your cup or that are inspiring you or mutually beneficial, right? Because listen, like, the relationships that we do have with people, there has to be give and take. There has to be benefit on both sides. And if there's not, that's not good. We don't want those ones. If it's totally one-sided, getting depleted, you get what I mean. So, the Page of Cups being in the reverse with the 9 of Cups, it's either needing to get clear on, again, what it is that you want, or it is seeking community, maybe even a couple different ones. Like, it's not necessarily expecting one group of friends or something to fulfill all of the, fill all of your cups, right? I mean, you could have a book club and you have friends there that you like. You could, I don't know, what's something else that people do? You could have, some sort of like exercise or workout, community that came to mind because I have a friend that does Krav Maga or whatever it's called, Krav. And she loves it, like, because it is very community and everybody gets along, and they all took a trip out of town to watch one of their members in their first ever fight, so it could be that you could have work friends, but it's like each group of people fulfill a different cup for you. And then we have the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands talks about like burden and responsibility, but it's a 10. So it's also a completion. Wands have to do with the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take. It is creativity, passion, desire. It is the things that make us feel inspired. But there's something here that is like, it feels like a chore or a responsibility. Or maybe it's just kind of become that, like maybe it didn't feel that way in the beginning. Also, though, I see Wands as being information by way of experience, which a third line knows deeply, because the third line is all about trial and error, right? It's like the purpose of making mistakes, of, tearing something apart. Oh my gosh, sorry. What, all of a sudden, I just had to burp a million times. I apologize. Gross. But third lines, no. Okay, that's where I was. Okay. The trial and error process, right? The making and breaking bonds, all of that is wisdom, because by figuring out and doing all of the things that don't work, you figure out the things that do actually work. And you can say to somebody, look, I know that this is what's going to work for me because I've tried all of these other different ways and they have all failed. But this way is what is the best way to do it. Whatever it is, it could literally be anything. So with the 10 of Wands, that's also just like life experience, skills that you've picked up, responsibilities that you've picked up along the way too. And it can feel like a burden sometimes. But it's also making that decision because, once again, 10s are a completion. So it is releasing a burden. It's deciding which one of these wands you do not need to carry around with you. It's also even appreciating that you have that experience, the skills, the knowledge. But it's paired with the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is, anxiety, fear, doubt. Swords have to do with our mindset, belief systems, ego, truth and honesty also, but like divine, objective truth. And the 9 of Swords is that card of like keeping us up at night. It's like, it could be all the what ifs. It could be FOMO. All of these swords just kind of hanging around, and even them being up in the clouds, it could have something to do with your sleep, because even your mindset and the perspective that we have on our reality, like whatever our ego's filter is, can also be a burden and just create problems for us. I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but holy cow, that is loud. But then on the other side of things, it's interesting because in this 9 of Cups, there's, a different fruit in 8 of the bowls. And then on one plate, there's like a sampling from each one. And that could even be a problem. Not that I'm like trying to create problems for you here, but if you're just, if what you are trying to do is actually make your bowl bigger instead of choosing to put less in your bowl, that's not working. And this burden and, mindset, anxiety, whatever this is, it's being caused by trying to change the size of the bowl. And I'm using that analogy since, again, the Page of Cups, they're making a bowl. Ceramics, all that. So again, if you are trying to make your bowl bigger so that you can fit more instead of being more discerning and choosing what actually goes into your bowl, that's the problem here. That's why maybe you're feeling the pressure or even feeling a lack of inspiration. Because how could you possibly feel inspired if you are just constantly overwhelmed? And it's interesting because then, and what brought me to that conclusion is the Seven of Cups here. Because the Seven of Cups, there's 7 different baskets on this card. And every basket has something different in it. Nothing is like crowded or, popping at the seams or anything. It's also even too like everything having its place. There's kind of an organization aspect to this, being a bit more organized and even compartmentalized. Is that the right word? But Seven of Cups usually talks about options, but I see the Seven of Cups as being like the Marie Kondo effect. Like what feels good and what doesn't. The stuff that doesn't feel good, either shelve it for the time being, meaning don't put your focus into that thing. Don't put your energy into that thing, at least not right now. Because, again, if it's not something that you want to totally let go of, then shelve it for the time being. See if the energy arrives for it. And the stuff that you're just like, absolutely not. That feels like torture. That doesn't feel good at all. Get rid of that. However that is, right? Whether it's a thought pattern, a belief system, a behavior pattern. It can be like actual, let me plug this. I forgot. There we go. It could be like actual, like going through your closet and getting rid of clothes that you haven't worn in a few years, just creating more space. Again, even picking up a thing. I never watched that Marie Kondo, but I think, and even if not, but like pick up a thing, touch it. How does it feel in your hands, right? Does it still feel good? Do you want to get rid of it or do you want to keep it? But there is a release of FOMO because you can't be like, well, maybe I'm going to need it, one day in 6 years. Well, you know what? When you do need it in 6 years, you'll just go get another one because you'll probably forget that you have it there anyway. Or is that just me? Oh, man. I've done that a million times. But you know what I mean? Like, really feel into your body about how a thing feels. This is also one of those things of, again, it's like going through like, what is it that you want to prioritize right now? Sorting things out. Also even realizing that maybe you have more options than you think you do. This could even, again, be the imagination thing because the Seven of Cups also talks about like being a bit daydreamy and, even kind of getting a little bit lost in the daydream, which is, it's good and bad. And it's paired with the Hermit, which is very like go within. The Hermit is associated to Virgo. And I mentioned at the beginning of this reading about Mercury retrograde that it's starting in Virgo. It's going to go back into, Leo before it goes direct again. Oh my gosh, this bird is outside eating off the ground. I have a couple bird feeders, because I'm at that age that I like watching birds. It's just like thunder and lightning outside. It's not really raining that hard yet, but must be hungry. Dang. I'd be inside my little birdhouse. I mean, where do birds go? Anyway, okay. The Hermit is, again, you know, it's going within. It is that getting quiet enough to hear your own message. Also, I see the Hermit as being honoring your own path. Like, everybody's journey through life is unique to them. So even going back to what I was saying at the beginning of the reading, really honing in on what it is that you want out of your life, trusting that, having confidence in it, getting clear in that. And, you know, the Hermit is about like isolation, kind of being by yourself. There's a healing aspect to it also. It could even be, since there is this flame here and this big ass wasp. I mean, why? I don't know why, you know? But even if you have, you can look up, what is it called? Like flame gazing, I think. It's like a form of meditation, but because not everybody likes to just, you know, be still and meditate. But there's active meditations, there's walking meditations, right? There's guided meditation. There's so you could meditate by cleaning or driving or, you know, just being in the zone on something. That is a form of meditation. But there is this thing about, you know, since there are all these options here, it's really getting clear in yourself about what it is that you want. Like, again, organizing all of that. And it's interesting. Okay, so we have these 3 9s at the bottom. We have 2 7s also. 7 of Pentacles is seeing the fruits of your labor. However, you have to put the labor in. Like, I always kind of give the analogy of like, you know, you can't plant a seed and literally do nothing else with it and expect it to grow and harvest it, right? Like, you have to put your literal presence into, you know, watering, fertilizing, pruning, whatever, you know, your resources, your time, your money, whatever, right? You have to show up. You have to put in the labor, right? The 8 of Cups is about moving forward. And interestingly enough, the 8 of Cups, it's like leaving behind what is no longer serving. You went through these 7 cups. You made your decisions. What do you want to prioritize? What's staying? What's going? The 8 of Cups is like, okay, I'm making the conscious decision to allow myself to move forward towards the 9 of Cups, which is, again, it's wish fulfillment. It's getting exactly what you need. It's your desires being met, feeling purposeful. We have the Ace of Swords. A new idea, new belief, even a new truth about yourself. The 4 of Swords, giving your mind a dang rest. The 9 of Pentacles. 2 of Cups. Like, 9 of Pentacles is financial success. It's independence. Again, it's, you know, it's a 9, so it's individual completion. It's success in your own right. The 7 of Pentacles here, that you did put your time into, that you did put your physical presence and your resources into, that is what brings you the 9 of Pentacles. We have all these grapes here that you can now harvest and sell or turn into wine and make that a business. Or, you know, not that it has to necessarily be like a job, but it is something that brings you monetary, tangible success. The 2 of Cups is making connections, connecting with the right people. And also, more importantly, it's the people who also fill your cup as much as you fill theirs. There's this reciprocity thing. Both people are coming with full cups. They're willing to share their cup with you. They're willing to accept your cup from you. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.